So you've hit the point where you are ready to take your lighting seriously and you can't quite decide between a pair of Elgato Key Lights or if you should just go with something like the Elgato Ring Light. Both have their pros and cons, and if you aren't quite sure which is the best solution for you, this video is gonna help you out. So let's address the elephant in the room, and that's cost. Elgato has a reputation of pricing their products on the higher end of the scale, and these lights are no exception. You can absolutely find cheaper alternatives on places like Amazon, but there are generally two things you miss out on when you go for the cheaper alternatives. First is the build quality. When it comes to lighting, you get what you pay for. From the moment you touch an Elgato light, you can tell the hardware is built to last. You also have a lot of flexibility with the positioning of these lights, and all of the lights come default with mounts that clamp to the edge of the desk, which takes up minimal space, and it allows you to push your desk up pretty darn close to the wall. And both lights have a lot of flexibility in the height that you want to set them at. The second big advantage, and for me this was the thing that really got me to pull the trigger on Elgato lighting, is the built-in integration with Stream Deck. Like many of you, I am a one-man band when it comes to running streams and making YouTube videos, so the last thing I want to do is have to constantly get up and sit back down, adjusting my lighting over and over, trying to fine-tune those lighting settings. Yes, there are alternatives that have remotes, even smartphone apps, which is great, lets you control the lights from your phone. Elgato has that too. But there is something pretty magical about being able to turn on and off your lights, adjust the lighting settings, or even create different presets for different lighting moods, all with the press of a button on your Stream Deck. Long story short, if you already own a Stream Deck, adding Elgato lighting to me seems like a no-brainer. But if you don't already have a Stream Deck, I hate to break it to you, it's probably gonna be your next purchase after you buy an Elgato Light, because you're just naturally gonna wanna automate things even more. Like Apple, Elgato is pretty dang good at sucking people into their ecosystem. So that's a little bit about what makes Elgato lighting different from other alternatives, but what differentiates the Key Lights from the Ring Light? And more importantly, which one makes the most sense for you? Right now, you are looking at me through a DSLR camera that is on its own dedicated mount, and it's sitting between two key lights. Now, a key light setup you will often see, and this is largely how Elgato advertises them, is the streamer will have a camera right down the middle, like it is right now, and the key lights themselves are evenly spaced out, making my face evenly lit. And this is a very easy, safe shot to achieve. And this isn't a bad look, but it's also pretty similar to the look you'd get with the Elgato Ring Light, which you are seeing right now. The point of using a ring light is to have your face evenly lit. Hence why these lights are very popular for creators who are doing things like makeup and beauty, where you want every part of your face evenly lit. That's made possible because your camera is mounted inside of the ring, so you're looking directly at the light when you are talking to the camera. Again, this isn't a bad look, and the ring light is what I've been using for the past year on all of my streams and YouTube videos. It was only until recently that Elgato sent out a pair of key lights for me to test out. So thanks, guys. But getting shots like this one, where one key light is just off to the side of the camera and the other key light is much further and higher, it allows me to add a little bit more depth to the shot, a little more dramatic, you could say. And if I wanted to increase that dramatic look, I could turn off one of my key lights and get a shot like this. And that's the beauty of using two separate light sources. I have the option of a very dramatic shot like this, or I can use my second key light to fill in my face just a little bit and help me stand out more from the background. Now, you can kind of achieve this effect with a ring light, as you can see here in this shot. Using a separate camera mount, I can position the camera off to the side of the ring light, causing my face to be lit from an angle. It's still a solid look, but you just don't have the flexibility of a second fill light to really fine-tune the shot. But keep in mind, in order to achieve this shot, you will need a second mount for your camera, which adds to the cost. This is something to consider when you are buying key lights. One thing that originally pushed me to buy the ring light over a pair of key lights is the ring light doubles as a camera mount, and that saves you some cash on top of only needing to buy a single light versus buying two lights when you go with the key lights. The other thing I really have liked about using the ring light is it's removed more decision making. All I had to do is pick where I want my camera or webcam to be, and I mount the light right there. At that point, it's just figuring out how bright or warm I want the shot to look, and it's a hard shot to screw up. So while key lights offer a lot more flexibility in terms of creative lighting styles, that also means more decision making and more possibilities of screwing up your shot. Hence why I think that the ring light is a great starting point for people who haven't watched a million tutorials on the best lighting practices and they just want an easy, safe, good looking shot. However, before you buy the ring light, there is a potential deal breaker that caused me to almost return it. Seriously. Watch this video if you are on the fence about buying the ring light, because it might sway you to go in the key light direction instead.